We are going to go over income tax and how it is calculated. Income tax is a percentage withheld from your income that you earn. Okay, so again, income is money you make from a job, and withheld means you're not going to get it. Okay, it is usually taken out of your paycheck from your employer. So some people don't have it taken out of their paycheck. However, most people do. There are 3 basic types of income tax. So the 3 different kinds of taxes that are going to come out of the money you make. First, you're going to have federal income tax. It is a progressive tax. That means depending on how much you make, depends on how much it's going to pay. How much you're going to have to pay. So money is sent to the federal government for military, defense, education, and other government foundations. So we also have Medicare, and Medicare is used to pay for health services for the elderly. So you may hear about the commercials that say, Medicare, part whatever. Normally they have people on there who are like grandma and grandparents' age, if not older, and they're all Medicare commercials. So it is for elderly people. It is their health services. We also have Social Security taxes. So Social Security is money that is set aside for those who need assistance once they're unable to work. So you might hear about your grandparents talk about their Social Security check that they will get. There are different types of Social Security, but the majority of it goes to elderly people when you're not able to work anymore. Social Security is one of those that you have to pay into in order to get the benefits from it. So here is your gross income. Gross income, this is everything you've made, right? Then we subtract the income tax. So here is everything I've made. So say I worked, 10 hours at $10 an hour, I have $100. Okay, then I'm not going to get all that money. Income tax is going to be subtracted from that amount. My net income, this is going to be the money that makes it into my bank. Or if you think of like a fishing net, after the taxes fall through, what is left in the net, okay? So gross is before taxes, net is after taxes. Now we are going to look at this chart here. So I have Santiago and Peter. This is their gross income. They both pay 6% in Social Security. They pay 1% of their income to Medicare. Total taxes withheld. So I'll have to add up these two and come with this number. And their net. So net, again, is what is left over. So remember, this is before taxes. And the net is after taxes. So looking at Santiago here, Santiago makes $1,850. He has to pay 6% to Social Security. How do I figure out what 6% of 1,850 is? There are 2 ways we can do this, and I want you to use whichever way works the best for you. So I can figure out a percent proportion, so I can go by percent proportions, and that will be part over whole equals percent over 100. I know this is my whole, right? The gross would be here. I don't know what the part is what I'm looking for here. I do know it's 6%, so 6% would go here, and 100. If I put those numbers into this proportion, again, putting an X right here for the part, I would cross multiply, divide to come up with the answer. Another way you can do this, because there are multiple ways to do math, is go ahead and go by the whole, so the whole amount, times the percent as a decimal, okay, equals part. And the easiest way to do that is to set it up vertically. But again, this would be the whole amount. This is the percent, and I would write 6% as a decimal here, times those two, and I will get the part. So we can do the first one together. I have 1,850 times 0.06. Now when doing this, I want you to multiply it as normal and then put the decimal back in. So when you look at this, I want you to go 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30, so 0, carry the 3. 6 times 8 gives me 48, plus 3 gives me 51, so put the 1 down, carry the 5. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 is 11. That is where I would stop doing math, because just to the left of those numbers, I just have zeros, and that's not going to do any good. So look at this. I have 2 digits behind of a decimal in the multiplication I'm doing. So now come over to the answer choice that I got right here, and we're going to move a decimal in 2 places. So that's where my decimal would be. So he pays $111 in Social Security tax. And then you continue working down the rest of it. So times that, we can go 1,850 times 1%. We're going to end up getting $18.50. So total taxes withheld. So I need to add Social Security plus Medicare. So again, I can just do the math off to the side. Add that up. 5.8 is 9, 2, 1. So he has $129.50 withheld. So now what do I do to figure out the net? Remember, the net is everything left over. Okay, think of it as an actual net if you need to. So here's my actual net. When I scoop something up, stuff is going to fall through the holes. Well, my taxes are going to fall through, and what is left in there is the net. Net income is also the amount that goes into your bank. Okay, into bank. So let's go ahead and figure out what Santiago's net income is. Well, it's not. Santiago has $1,850. He pays $129.50 in taxes. So we just need to subtract. Can't do this. Make it a 4, 10, make it a 9, 10. 5, 0, 2, 7, 1. So his net income, the amount that hits his bank account, is $1,720.50 after taxes. Go ahead and pause the video real quick. I want you to go ahead and try to figure out Peter's. How much does Peter pay in Social Security, Medicare? What is his total taxes withheld? And then what is his net income? And here is Peter's. He ends up with $84 in Social Security. He pays $14 in Medicare. His total taxes that are withheld are $98, with a net income of $1,302. Dr. Rodriguez earns an annual salary of $204,000. If Social Security taxes are 6% of gross income, how much will Dr. Rodriguez pay each year in Social Security taxes? So first thing I want you to do is pay attention to what we're looking for. So we figure out how much will he pay each year in Social Security tax. What do we know? We know how much he makes. He makes $204,000. So go ahead and set it up just like we did on the last screen. 204,000 times 0.06. Feel free to do the percent proportion if you prefer that method. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0, 0. 6 times 0, 0. 6 times 4 is 24. Put the 4 down, carry the 2. 6 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Now, again, pay attention. This was a decimal, that is a comma. Ignore the comma. I have two numbers behind a decimal in the problem I did. So I'm going to insert 2 places over to my decimal point. So Dr. Rodriguez pays $12,240 each year in Social Security tax. Now look at this last problem right here. So in 2015, Mrs. Jones paid $630 in Medicare taxes. This represents 1% of her salary. What was Mrs. Jones' gross income in 2015? So again, I want you to always highlight the questions that you get, okay, on your practice problems. I want you to highlight the important information. So we know she paid $630. We know that was 1% of her salary. And we are looking for what her gross income was. Remember, gross means before taxes. So on this question, I would probably use a percent proportion. So I know part over whole equals percentage over 100. Now fill in the information I have. Well, 100 is always 100, okay? So here, let's fill that out. 100 is always going to be here. I know it's 1% of her salary, so I'm putting a 1. I know she paid $630, so that is the part she paid, and I'm looking for the total. So next step would be to cross multiply. So I have x times 1 equals 630 times 100. X times 1 is just x equals 630 times 100. 63000. So she made $63,000 in 2015.